Hey there, Angela Loria from the Author Incubator back for another episode of Ask a Best-Selling Author. I'm with best-selling author Mark J. Silverman. He is the author of Only Tens, and he is also someone who has been long diagnosed with ADD, right?
Yeah, we went to get my son tested, and I was the one who tested off the charts.
Really? So how long ago was that?
That was a good 10 years ago.
And so you've been diagnosed for a decade. How long do you think you have actually had ADD?
Since the time I could talk.
Right. What's the difference between having undiagnosed ADD and diagnosed ADD?
Oh, the huge difference is, that's what it is. That's why I can't pay attention. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I lived my life, for 40 years without knowing what it was. I'm just interested in a lot of things all the time. But getting it diagnosed really helped me to now go, oh, there are strategies to work through so that I can get things done, and also help my kid, who's also ADD.
I think a lot of people who hear that diagnosis would think, obviously there are many successful people with ADD, but a project like writing a book probably isn't for you. So the thoughts, like I have ADD, I'm not going to be able to do a big project like write a book. How'd you get through that thought? What was the thought you had instead? And how does someone with ADD or ADHD, how do they make a commitment to a project like a book?
So for me, it was getting the right help. So when I was a sales guy, getting my expenses in, I needed to get my expenses in every month. I never kept a receipt. So I actually gave an admin 10% of my expenses to do my expenses, because I'd put them in every 6 months or so. And I'd have to take off 2 days to get myself ready to do my expenses. So I just gave someone 10% and hired it out. So same thing here is I have an admin for my business today who does the things that I can't do. I wrote a whole new proposal, but I'm not going to get all the fonts right, and I'm colorblind too, so that never looks right. So I just hand it to her, and she takes it, she sends it back. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. And then with writing the book, when I talked to your colleague Robin about, I think I want to write a book, and he says, oh, I need to introduce you to Andrea.
Or Angela, it's fine, all the time, with the Andrea. At least you didn't call me Laura or Lori, I get that
yes,
too.
that makes sense. So when I got introduced to you and this process, that told me I had a framework that I could work with, and I had people who were going to help me along the way. So when I did get off tangent, I knew where to get back, because that's a huge piece for me. Is I know I'm going to get off tangent, but how am I going to get back?
I love that you aren't surprised by it. I think when people will talk about falling off the wagon with their diet or with drinking, it's like, oh, I thought I had this fixed finally once and for all, but you're like, I'm going to get off tangent.
My whole coaching practice is about 9 times out of 10, you're going to get off track. If you know how to get back on track, that getting off track is not disruptive to what you're trying to accomplish.
I love that. So just expect you're going to get off track, have a plan for how you're going to get back on track, and then I want to talk about the third piece, which you mentioned, which is hiring help, whether it's us, your assistant, having the brilliant plan of having the admin giving her a percentage of your expenses, which is so good. I think there's a fear that comes up for people. I don't think this was necessarily a big one for you, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I think there's a fear that people are like, I should be able to figure this out myself. I'm an adult, I'm over 40, I should be able to get my expenses in. I see other adults over 40 getting their expenses in. And so I'm not going to pay for that. I don't have money now to pay for that. I can't afford to give up 10% of my expenses. I have to get my expenses paid back off. I can't afford to hire a book coach. I just have to kick my own ass and do it because I see other people doing it. So how do you get over the fear of investing in yourself with an admin, with our program? How do you get over that fear instead of just feeling like I should be able to figure this out?
That's a pretty deep question, a pretty deep answer. For me, so the expenses thing was really easy. I knew that I was losing more than 20% of my expenses by not getting them in every 6 months. By having someone take care of it, they paid for themselves. So that was an easy calculator risk to put together. But as I move into a business where I'm in my zone of genius most of the time, and coaching and talking to people and working with people on what they're trying to accomplish is my zone of genius. My zone of genius is not the fonts on my proposals or my website or any of that, including doing my taxes or paying my bills. So if anything, I now trust myself enough to know that my zone of genius is, and where I'm good, if I put more investment into where I'm good instead of trying to fix all the places that I'm bad, I will get much more out of that, and I'll enjoy life. Plus, my admin loved doing spreadsheets. She would do in 15 minutes what it would take me, just the right music, the right pencils, the right everything, and a whole day to get accomplished. So why not let someone else do it, make the money, and just keep that in circulation?
Love it. Fantastic. If you have ADD and you want to write a book, I want you to know you can do it. Here is the proof. Put your comment below, like and share this video, especially if you know someone with ADD who has a goal. Maybe it's writing a book, but it could be any goal, and they feel like that diagnosis is holding them back. Tag them in the comments below. Give them the opportunity to see that that diagnosis can be a way to identify coping strategies instead of a reason why you can't get something done. I hope you'll join us again for another episode of Ask a Best-Selling Author.